Hello everyone, and you're welcome to another interesting episode of TechnyFire. This is where technology meets real impact. I am Dapo Aruwajoye. This episode is coming to you from AfriEdutech City. This is where young minds, especially those too often overlooked, are building the future with code, robotics, and strong will. So today we have an interesting breakthrough to cover. This is an interesting one. Why I said so is because it's an innovation for the visually impaired and the hearing impaired. And the exciting part of it is these innovations are created by the visually impaired and the hearing impaired themselves. I told you it's going to be an interesting one. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this break.
Our ancestors spoke wisdom that moved mountains. Our language carried knowledge empires feared. But today, our phones don't hear us. Our AI ignores us. But builds the future without inviting us in. No more. Technology rises to reclaim what's ours. AI born from our soil, speaking our tongue, solving our struggles. Agriculture, health, education, trade on our tongue. This is not charity. This is revolution, a national revolution. MVPs made in Nigeria. Southwest, your time is now. Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos. We need 120 warriors, 20 from each state. The sharpest minds, the boldest hearts. Bring your fire. Applications open March 1st, just 4 weeks. Submit your 3 to 5 minute pitch video. Yoruba, English, Pidgin, speak your truth. CV, 1 page, proof of roots, and your raw proof of concept. Your idea, heritage, the weapon we need. Technology isn't coming, it's already burning inside you. Technology initiative of MVP made in Nigeria. Powered by Technifire, NITHub, and Dawn Commission. Technology, the fire is ready. Who is pressing the button?
AfriEdutech empowers special people, visually impaired, hearing impaired, girls and marginalized learners with adaptive tech, hands-on robotics and STEM programs, partnering with Bethesda School for the Blind and Wesley School for the Deaf. They turn disability is not inability into reality, proving tech unlocks true ability. Prepare to be amazed by game-changing innovations built by these learners themselves. You will be wowed. Let's meet the person right behind this innovation.
AfriEdutech City, we AfriEdutech City, and what we do is we preach the gospel of digital skills in form of STEM and robotic skills to learners, right? But we thought about it, that was sometime 2 years ago, that we have different learners. We have the typical learners, we have the non-typical learners, we have the marginalized learners, and we have the so-called lucky ones. And the fact remains that they are all in Nigeria, right? So, and they are also going to be in the same economy. So how do we bridge the digital divide gap between the marginalized, the typical learners, and the non-typical learners? Are you saying that the non-typical learners, they don't have chance to stand beside a typical learner when it comes to digital world in the nearest future? And that was why we came about having just the NGO part of AfriEdutech. So we have AfriEdutech City, and we have AfriEdutech Digital Skills and Empowerment Foundation. And what we do basically is we give out digital skills in form of STEM, robotics, virtual assistant, database, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, and lots more to marginalized learners for free. Because the fact remains that we are trying to build, there is a lot of digital divide gap, and it's really unfair on the non-typical learners because they're also in this world. So we want a situation whereby in the nearest future, it's not just all about the rich. It's not just all about kids that are in London or thereabout. We want to change that narrative, and what we preach basically is inclusion. We believe strongly in inclusion. We believe that a special needs learner can innovate. We believe, because see, even research shows that we all have one disability or the other. Do you agree with that? So don't see somebody that is visually impaired as, oh, this person cannot see. Even you, and nobody is a total human being. I also have mine. There are some things that you have anxiety for. That's a disability you get. But it's just that there comes in a very loud voice. But as human beings, we all have something we are dealing with that we can actually coin it to be a disability. So our focus in AfriEdutech Digital Skills and Empower Foundation is on visually impaired, which we call blind, but we don't call them blind, hearing impaired, which we call deaf and dumb, but we don't call them that name. Additional needs learner, the so-called special needs learner, girl child. We are very keen on girl child because we also want to change the narrative across Africa where a girl hands up in the kitchen cooking, or a girl hands up to go to her husband's house. No, it's not that we are trying to drag with the male gender, no, but we are just trying to change the narrative that as a girl child, you can also thrive in the digital space. Then we also focus on marginalized, and before the end of this year, we also want to expand to prison inmates. Yeah, we want to give them a chance as well, because some of these people, when they leave prison, they don't have where to go to. They don't know how to start their life any longer.
So you teach them technology?
So yeah, so it's already in the pipeline, but by June, July, we're starting with some prison here in Lagos State where we go in there, we train them so that they can use. So something good about digital skills is it's you can easily monetize it. As simple as even doing graphics, designing flyers. You can become a graphic designer. And because part of what we're also trying to change, the narrative we're trying to change is trying to make the economy better, right? And the aim of this thing is at least 3 years. So for our visually impaired and our hearing impaired learners, the goal is after 3 years, whatever skills that we've taught them, they can use it to work.
Let's talk about the skills and the innovation we have today.
Okay.
What are we looking at today?
That you're here today.
Yes.
So, okay, so today our learners were able to build a prototype, and it has really gone far. I'm so happy to say that because we registered them for an international competition, Cote d'Ivoire international competition. It was actually a risk initially because when the offer came, in fact, I told my boss and he was like, but I was like, in my mind, I'm like, let's give it a try. Because this is innovation, and like you said, that why you're here today, innovation goes a very long way. In fact, all across the world right now, innovation is very, very paramount. So we enroll them for the competition, right? But before then, we've been taking them every weekend. Like I said, we have our target audience. So every Saturdays, we deploy facilitators to visually impaired, that is Bethesda Home School for the blind, and for the hearing impaired, that is Wesley School for the deaf. So it wasn't just a sudden thing, it's what they've been learning since last year, right? So when the opportunity for the competition came, they didn't even really give us, they just said, from all the SDG goals, pick a particular SDG goal and build a prototype that revolves around it. That's it.
So what did you guys build?
Okay, so for the visually impaired, they built wearable glasses, and we decided to pick a topic that they will be able to understand. Because the fact remains that if you're trying to innovate, you have to first of all look at the problem. If you don't know the problem, you'll not be able to come up with a solution. So for them as visually impaired, they have issues or challenges when it comes to avoiding obstacles, because as a visually impaired person, you might be walking on the road, you will not be able to know, oh, this is a stone or this is a stick. So we factor that in as a problem. Then also, as a visually impaired person, you're prone to eating anything. So even if they give you a poisonous food, you might not be able to know. Because even as somebody that has eyes, I mean, if it's a powder poison, you might not be able to know. And they're also prone to taking harmful substances, maybe spoiled food, because they cannot see it. So we factor that into the problem statement. Then also, for example, God forbid, if there is fire, gas, or smoke, they won't be able to sense what is happening in their environment. So their prototype revolves around that problem to be able to solve it. So traditionally, they are used to using white skin, but we decided to work more on the white skin, and we attached some sensor to the white skin such that if you're working in their immediate environment where there is flame or gas or fire, before 911 or thereabout, they can be able to know, oh, this environment is not safe for me to stay. So their prototype works with the dark glasses and their white skin. So we're not trying to rule out the white skin. We upgraded on it, then also brought in the dark glasses. So for the hearing impaired, so because they use their hands to talk, signals, they use signs to talk, it's very, very difficult for you to understand. So their prototype is actually a wearable glove. You can wear it on your hands, and whatever sign it displays. So for example, there's something attached to the glove known as LCD, and whatever text that pops up on the LCD, that is the sign language you're going to do. So even you as a person, maybe you have hearing impaired as a neighbor, as your child, from what is displayed on the screen, you can be able to interpret whatever thing that is being done by the hearing impaired.
So they contributed to these developments?
They did it by themselves. Like I said, the competition, they only said, do something revolving around SDG. They did it by themselves. Of course, we have facilitators that came in, and like I said, we've been training them since last year, so they already understand robotics and STEM to some extent before that came in.
The purpose of this is to be able to solve like some problems that we have in the blind community, which is whenever they're walking, instead of walking and hitting an object, the glasses is supposed to help them know that there's something in front of them, and if they're about to eat a food that is hot, the glasses will let them know that, okay, this food is hot. So it's just basically, the purpose of this is to help them like solve some problems in the blind community. So that's what this is all about.
And basically, have you tried this and is it working?
Yeah, I'm actually the one assisting them in making sure, like putting the fire to make sure that the glasses can detect fire, can detect an object. So I'm going to be the one helping them set things up while they talk about it. So we've tried it and it's working. That's how they qualified to be able to represent Nigeria.
Sometime last year, the Directorate of Bethesda got in connections with AfriEdutech City, and they decided that they wanted to pick up training visually impaired persons in robotics and STEM. And at that time, we're just to present an MBOT. An MBOT is a small device that they use for learning. So we're coded, and then we thought how to actually come about that, and we presented that. Then I had a conversation with the management of the AfriEdutech City that would like to be a part of this particular show, not only as a presenting or as a half-cast, but as a full member, where we want to compete with the regular students, we want to show them that obviously there is ability in disability. And Ms. Tosin promised that this year we're going to be integrated fully. At the beginning of the year, they brought a new facilitator and we started the training. We went through the regional, national, and to the glory of God, we qualified to go to the abroad to present our solution and prototype to the world.
So this innovation, you tell me about it, it was created by you guys, not for you, but by you.
Yes, it was created by us and it's for us too. Because obviously we understand that we are living with a challenge, which is our inability to see. So we need solutions to the problem of moving around. We need solutions to the problem of choosing the right meal to eat. We need solutions to the problem of being able to read data that is on surfaces to identify public spaces and the rest of it. So we knew that there was no way, if we did not create those solutions for ourselves, most times those that are already created are too expensive for some of us in this part of the world, and even some of them are not even readily available here because they're not made for this environment. We can identify, at least for now, we have the sensors that can sense temperature, the ones that can trace gases. So what we did, basically, we created a prototype and integrated to another. When we talk about the integration, we had already the existing white skin. So what we did was to put the gas sensor on the white skin, and so that it can help us identify if there are gaseous objects around us, like we are walking through where they just organized a party and someone just cooked on the main road or around your house, and there's a remaining of firewood on the ground, and a blind person is walking through that place. So that particular gas sensor would help identify that. Then we created the Supreme Sight. Supreme Sight is our own project. is our own baby. We know that, like I said, when we go to the market sometimes to purchase some of these fruits, the ones that the regular sighted person would not want to buy is the one they give to us because we cannot see it. So our Supreme Sight is going to put an end to that, ensure that blind persons can identify the right fruits. Anyone that has a decolored or any decoloration is not being able to choose. Even sometimes when we go to eat by the roadside, some of those mama put joints, and then they are selling stuff to us, we find out that the meat or the fish that people cannot buy, the one that's already cut halfway, they give it to us. And you cannot identify that until you are already done eating the food. And then you are paid for full instead of, and you got half. So we are going to end that. We are also going to bridge the gap of the rich and the poor. Some of the people or the already available prototypes or materials are very expensive and they're not made for Africans. But this is the one that we made here, so he understands the Nigerian environment as much as possible. If you move around some parts of Lagos, you see that one of the greatest problems in Lagos is that we are disorganized. You see number 1 at the beginning of the street and the next house is like number 36. So this prototype also would understand that kind of a mapping system and note that, oh, there's a public space here, help you identify hospitals, schools, religious houses, just to mention a few. So we're going to take away being harassed, because some of our brothers, when they go to school, and sisters, when they go to school, they are victims of robbery, they are victims of being taken to the wrong places. In fact, some of us, when we're going to work in the morning, instead of getting to work at the right time, we get delayed because we were expecting that someone will help you cross the road. This will also solve that problem to the minimalist as possible.
For a program to help the deaf individual, you know, these categories of pupils, they are the ones that cannot benefit from their residual sense of hearing. And there are major problems, the challenges they have in the process of life is communication, because they depend largely on the use of sign language and total communication. And the school focuses on education and social inclusion. But with the AfriEdutech City, they come up with this inspire developing application, which is called InSync, Assistive Inclusive Technology, that can bridge the communication barrier between hearing individual and hearing impaired people to make communication easier and accessible for them. You know, in some areas like the general public, like hospital, in social gathering, the hearing impaired pupils find it difficult to communicate with people. But with this assistive technology, they develop this wonderful application that can transform the sign language into text and speech that can help individual that does not understand sign language to cope and understand what they are trying to sing or communicate with them.
Yeah, so how are you guys? How are you doing?
How are you? How are you doing? You're fine.
Okay, so
You're fine.
what's your name?
What's your name? Irioluwa.
What's your own name?
Irioluwa Philip. Your name? Alias.
Alias. Okay, and your own name?
Adana.
Adana. How are you?
How are you?
Okay, so this innovation, have you tried it before? Is it good? This one?
Yes, it's very good.
Very good. So are you part of the people that came up with this?
Yes.
And you are very excited.
Yes, they are very happy.
So you are technicians, are you into technology?
Yes.
So tell me about this.
This is InSync device. Yeah, continue. It is this device is designed to bridge the communication gap between the hearing impaired and hearing individual is to promote independence and confidence for special people, and it is to help them to be inclusive in the society and to lessen the involvement of sign language interpreter when it is not necessary. Number one, the device encompasses with, number one, we call it LCD device that shows on the screen. Number two is jumper wire. Number three is this LCD, and number four, adrenohuno, the brain. And number five, it is the glove itself. And introducing the hand to us, the thumb, we have the thumb, and we have the index finger, and we have the middle, we have the fourth finger, and the little finger. They all have their functions in using the gloves. So all of them, when you insert the glove after connecting all those appliances, after connecting it, there is this push button that when you squeeze, when you press out of any of these fingers, because they have their functions. Continue.
So the push button is there?
So the push button is right in the front here.
Okay.
These are the push button.
Okay.
So there are 4 buttons there. When you press, it can show greetings depending on what you want to display on the screens. The finger 2, it can show, if you are talking about numbering, it can show 1. When you press like index, it can show 1. If you press the third fingers, it can show yes. When there is conversation that you need to say whether no or yes, it can, and you press the third finger, it can show you the sign. And the number 4. And it can show you when you press the fourth push button, it can show you whether he or she loves you or not. You will see it on the screen.
It's the glass, and it has various components. For instance, the ultrasonic sensor that helps detect obstacles. As I'm sitting down here, it cannot detect anything because I'm not close to an obstacle. But when I stand like this, I'm moving now. So it has made the sound showing that there's an obstacle in front of me. Secondly, we have the Arduino, which is the brain of the glass. So whatsoever the ultrasonic sensor senses, it processes it into the Arduino, and the Arduino sends it as a feedback to the buzzer. This is what is giving this sound. The ultrasonic sensor has sent it and has processed it to the Arduino, which is now giving it as a feedback through the buzzer. Another important component in this prototype is the temperature sensor that helps detect how cold or hot a substance is at a given value, like 45 degrees Celsius. So the hot water is in front of me now and it's making sound because the thing is very hot, but if it's cold, it will not make any sound.
So Cletus, thank you very much.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
All right then, thank you so much. I love you, right? Thank you so much. From Supreme Sight for the visually impaired and InSync for the hearing impaired, these special students are not just building innovations, they are building freedom, confidence, and equality. A special shout out to the students from Bethesda School of the Blind and Wesley School 1 for the deaf and the entire AfriEdutech team. You guys are writing what possible. And that's our package today. My name is Dapo Aruwajoye. I know you must have learned one or two from this exciting edition. So see you next time on Technifire.